right now and get my cousin James, who is always in our comments, in on this. Come on, hit us with it. 1, 2.
So told us.
Well, y'all getting this live.
It might not work like
He's
that.
gonna sing.
Can they hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna sing.
Okay.
Okay.
Y'all ready?
Yes.
Ready.
I want to thank ya. Yeah. I want to thank ya. Somebody clap their hands up in here. I want to thank ya. Yeah. I want to thank ya. You know what time it is, y'all? Why you help me say it? It's story time. Yeah. Y'all ain't clapping your hands over there. Come on. It's story time. Again. We just want to give gratitude. Yeah. Got story time we're gonna bring together. Through good words we're trying to say. Yeah. Yahuwah, we're gonna make a way. We're gonna make a way. Gonna make a way. Come on. It's story time. Oh, do you know what time it is, y'all? It's story time. Yeah. Let me just say one more thing and I'm gonna be through. Open up your books, you're bound to find. Some freedom, some peace of mind. Yeah. Oh, one more time we've got to say. You know what? Yahuwah, you're gonna make a way. You're gonna make a way. Gonna make a way. Yeah. It's story time. That's right, folks. It's story time. With Bonnie G and what's her name? Michelle on the beat. On the phone bar. Yeah. Yeah. On the one.
Thank you.
As we do every story time, we are going to start off with our scripture. Y'all, it is a whole Friday. And on top of that, we are under an open heaven.
Yes, it is Passover.
Passover. So let us get into Jubilees 2 and 18 through the 22nd verse. All right? All right. All right. And it reads, and he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath, that we should work 6 days, but guard the Sabbath on the 7th day from all work. And all the angels of the presence and all the angels of sanctification, these 2 great classes he has bidden us to guard the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth. And he said unto us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from amongst all the peoples, and these shall guard the Sabbath. And I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and will bless them as I have sanctified the Sabbath, and do sanctify it unto myself. Even so will I bless them, and they shall be my people. That's y'all. Okay? And I will be their Elohim. And I have chosen the seed of Jacob, which that's you, from amongst all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son, and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Sabbath, that they may guard the Sabbath thereon from all work. And thus he created therein a sign in accordance with which they should guard the Sabbath with us on the 7th day, to eat and to drink, and to bless him who has created all things, as he has blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all people, and that they should guard the Sabbath together with us. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right. So today.
Yes. Today we have a special Passover edition.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're going all the way back to Egypt. So the first set of scripture we're going to come and read is from the book of Jasher, Actually, we're coming from the book of Joshua today, and we're going to start on chapter 67. And right now we're going to read verses 48 to 56. I'll set the scene for you. Pharaoh the king of Egypt, Pharaoh, y'all know his name, is trying to think of a way to get rid of the children of Yisrael because there's getting to be too many. They are scared that if their enemy comes against them, Yisrael may turn on them. But also keep in mind, the reason why Egypt is a great power today is because the children of Yisrael fought their wars for them. But now they're scared. What if they turn against us? So Pharaoh got together with his little spooky people and decided, let's get rid of them. Let's get rid of those male. So then they can't make no more. Basically genocide. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's where we're going to start. So we're going to see, well, how did he want to do this? How did he want to get rid of these children?
Okay. Well, let's get into it. I don't mind if I do.
Yes.
All right. So Joshua 67, verse 48, and I'm going to dive in. All right. Now, therefore, O king, hear my words, for this is the counsel which is concealed against them. Did I read that right?
Counsel.
Thank you, sir. You're there. You're there.
I'm here to help you.
Ooh, what would I be without James?
That's Brother James live, you all.
He's not being silent. And when he ain't at home. All right. Counsel against them. Thank you for that. By which you will prevail over them, and from which you should not depart. If it please the king, let him order all their children which shall be born from this day forward to be thrown into the water. For by this can you wipe away their name. For none of them, nor of their fathers, were tried in this manner.
I thought it was just the boys. It's all the children.
All the children. And is this still going on today?
Yeah, abortion clinic. That's
Absolutely.
Right.
Listen,
we
got to use our story time voice.
Yeah, yes.
This is today, and they put it up there. And just not too long ago, someone donated. I forget her name. $4 billion.
Yeah, a lot of money.
$4 billion. Mm-hmm. To help African Americans to abort their babies. To help. Isn't that sweet?
Oh.
Yes, this is still going on today. It's just packaged differently.
Yeah.
All right. Verse 50. And the king heard the words of Balaam, and the thing pleased the king and the princes. And the king did according to the word of Balaam. And the king ordered a proclamation to be issued and a law to be made throughout the land of Egypt, saying, every male child born to the Hebrews from this day forward shall be thrown into the water. And Pharaoh called unto all his servants, saying, go now and seek throughout the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel are, and see that every son born to the Hebrews shall be cast into the river, but every daughter you shall let live. And when the children of Israel heard these things which Pharaoh had commanded to cast their male children into the river, some of the people separated from their women, and others adhered to them.
So they was like, we ain't going to have no baby.
Right. Absolutely, we're not doing that.
Yeah, you're not killing my baby because I ain't having none.
Exactly. And from that day forward, when the time of delivery arrived, to those women of Israel who had remained with their men, they went to the field to bring forth there. So a bunch of women, those that didn't want to be a part of, you ain't gonna split. Yeah. But I'm pregnant, so a lot of the women went out into a field to give birth in secret.
That's why our women knew how to do that in slavery.
Let me turn you up.
Yeah, I need your story time voice.
I said that's how they did it in slavery. They would have their children in the fields. Mm-hmm. And everybody didn't know that they had those babies. Anyway, okay, go ahead.
All right, I like that. Mm-hmm. All right. And brought forth there. And they brought forth in the field and left their children upon the field and returned home. And Yahuwah, who had sworn to their ancestors to multiply them, sent one of his ministering angels, which are in heaven, to wash each child in water, to anoint and swab it, and to put it into their hands 2 smooth stones, from one of which it sucked milk, and from the other honey. and it caused its hair to grow to its knees, by which it might cover itself, to comfort it, and to cleave to it through his compassion for it.
So he sent his angel to give each baby 2 stones. One the baby could suck honey from,
And
one the
for them
baby could suck, and he had their hair grow
to keep them
to
warm.
keep them warm.
Listen, where is some
Yeah.
milk and honey at? Because there's some places in my head that I need
Right? The grow.
to grow,
Give
okay?
them stones.
And that will comfort me on the side. You understand? I'm
Yeah.
looking for some comfortability here. All right? To cleave to it through his compassion for it. And when Elohim had compassion over them and had desired to multiply them upon the face of the land, he ordered his earth, to receive them to be preserved therein till the time of their growing up, after which the earth opened its mouth and vomited them forth, and they sprouted forth from the city like the herb of the earth, and the grass of the forest, and they returned each to his family and to his father's house, and they remained with him.
See, the earth do what Yahuwah tells it to do. The earth swallowed up these children
Absolutely.
till they were grown.
And you know what happened to who else did this? Elizabeth and her son.
Yeah.
With the
With the
mountain.
mountain.
When the
The
mountain
mountain.
opened
She
up.
said,
John
mountain
the
opened
Baptist.
up, and that mountain said, okay, and opened up and
Mhm.
nursed John the Baptist.
Yep, sure did. Sure did.
We see this again.
Yes.
Him taking care of his people.
Yes. And because they trying to stop the be fruitful and multiply, they trying to stop Yashua from growing, and Yahuwah goes, you ain't in charge.
And I made an oath to their ancestor.
Yes.
I am not
Yes.
a liar.
Yes.
You ain't gonna make
Yeah.
no liar out of me.
You can, and he buried the children in the
Buried them.
ground.
Buried them and took care of them till they was grown.
And then they got to go in home. How do you know who your mama is? How you know where they live?
GPS was already there. Okay?
Boom.
It said
GPS.
now make an illegal U-turn here. Child did it.
Went straight to his house.
Right.
It wasn't no, do anybody here look like me? He got home. And I bet the parents was like, that's my baby.
He was
Look
like,
like
come
me,
here,
look like
Jaquan,
your
come
daddy.
here, baby.
Come on, Jaquan. Yeah.
Come here.
Come on, Yoshi Yahoo. Come on, baby.
Yes, come
Yeah,
on.
you mine. Come on up in the house. You need something to eat, baby.
No, he was good. I'm
Oh,
sure.
that's right.
He was good.
Add milk and
I'm
eggs.
sure he didn't send them kids hungry.
Look,
He ain't gonna send
look.
nobody kids hungry.
we over here worried about a food shortage. We don't know how y'all gonna move. So if y'all wake up in the morning and see some stones outside your house, pick 'em up.
I mean,
I'm
I'm not
saying.
gonna listen.
I'm just saying.
I don't know if you want to suck on the stone or if you want to squeeze. I don't know how you want to do that. That's your
Whatever
business.
you would tell me to do, I'm gonna do.
You right.
'Cause I love honey. I can eat me some honey.
Amen.
Yes, I'll write out the jar.
Yeah, honey. But listen, I may need to. Yeah, is that you? That's just me. I'm not gonna automatically pick up that
She
love.
gonna pull a Baruch. And
I am.
how
I'm
do
gonna ask
I know what bee did this honey come from?
That's right. I'm gonna ask questions. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so now we are going to go to Jasher chapter 79,
So turn with us.
verse 25. Turn with us. We are in our Sefer. And this is when Moses or Moshe gets to Pharaoh after Yahuwah tells him, go. And now he's telling Pharaoh, basically, we're going to start with the let my people go and the plague's going to hit.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So Jasher 79, verse 25, and it reads, and Pharaoh said to Moses, what do you require? And they answered him, saying, Yahuwah Elohim of the Hebrews has sent us to you to say, send forth my people, that they may serve me. And when Pharaoh heard these words, he was greatly terrified before them. And he said to them, go today and come back to me tomorrow. And they did according to the word of the king.
See, people knew.
Mm-hmm.
People knew, wait, this is, let me not be too, hey, yeah, I'm going to need you to go home.
Yeah, I'm not sure I heard
Just
you
come
right.
back tomorrow.
Let me be
because
prepared. I wasn't prepared.
I need to see what's going on here. Because I heard about your Elohim, but I need to call, my men together. We don't. Maybe I'll listen to you. Maybe I won't.
But
Yeah,
anyway.
maybe I'll listen to you. Maybe I won't. Let's see.
All right. And when they had gone And when they had gone, Pharaoh sent for Balaam, like you said, the magician, and to the Lanners and Lambrays, come on words, his sons, and to all the magicians and conjurers, there you go, and counselors which belonged to the king. And they all came and sat before the king.
So they called the tarot card readers,
Everything.
the crystal ball, and all the little
All the
tea
spooky
readers.
spookies.
Yeah, the tea leaf readers and
Let's go to Bones.
yeah, I'm gonna need y'all to tell me what's going on. You know, it's the lady in what's the name of the show? The Princess with the Frog.
Oh,
Go
got
see,
you.
Go see the little witch.
Listen, you can't start off with the lady. I was thinking lady in the trap.
Yeah.
You know my mind. I was like, I don't know how you gonna tie this shit.
Yeah, now the lady, you know how she was like the little witchcraft doctor?
Oh,
Go
yes.
see the little witchcraft doctor. Don't y'all go see the witchcraft doctor.
No.
Yeah.
See the Most High.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. And they all came and sat before the king. And the king told them all the words which Moses and his brother Aaron had spoken to him. And the magician said to the king, "But how came the men to you? On account of the lions which were confined at the gate?" And the king said, "Because they lifted up their rod against the lions and loosed them, and came to me. And the lions also rejoiced at them, as a dog rejoices to meet his Adonai."
Yeah, I'll explain that because that's not in your 66. So basically, Pharaoh had lions guarding his door. Real lions that didn't play. These lions are not about to let you in. But when Moshe comes and lifts up his rods, they follow Moshe like he a puppy dog.
Wow.
Like they understand authority.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, we ain't messing with them. Them lions was like, I'm with y'all.
Right.
Ooh, hey Moshe. Jumping up and down like a puppy dog. And because they was like, how they get up in here? How they get past the lions?
That lets you know,
Authority.
absolutely.
Authority.
If he gave you the authority, you can use it.
Use that
And there's
authority.
nothing that's gonna block that.
Mm-mm.
You got big old lions, okay?
Mhm.
Know when to back up.
That's supposed to be guarding you. See, that's what I say. You keep trusting in Hasatan and all these little magic spooky tricks, and they gotta bow down to you. Or you gotta just walk up and go, what kind of little magic you do? Anybody scared of that? Jumping up and down, turning around, burning, say, anybody scared of you? Please, bye. I got time for that.
I'm glad that you explained that because I ain't never heard. I was like, wait a minute, what am I reading? Right? All right. And Balaam, the son of Beor, that's his name today, at whatever time it is, the magician answered the king, saying, "These are none else than magicians like ourselves."
So they just like us.
Yeah,
they
they trying
just
to
did a
play
little
us.
magic trick with the lions.
Mhm. All right. Now therefore send for them and let them come, and we will try them. And the king did so.
They sent for them.
This is
You
when
came
you
for
tried
it.
it.
You tried
You
it.
tried to came
You tried it.
into the world. You
Okay,
tried it.
simple. Let's see what happens.
And in the morning, Pharaoh sent for Moshe and Aaron to come before the king. And they took the rod of Elohim and came to the king and spoke to him, saying, "Thus says Yahuwah Elohim of the Hebrews, send my people that they may serve me." And the king said to them, "But who will believe you that you are the messenger of Elohim, and that you come to me by his order? Now therefore give a wonder or a sign in this matter, and then the words which you speak will be believed."
Yeah, they were saying show me a sign. Now, what I want you, in case some of you don't know, this rod that Moses has is the sapphire rod that Yahuwah had in his hand when he created the world.
Wow.
This is that same rod that if you just read the whole book of Jasher, you'll see how it was passed down, and you'll see where Disney got Sword in the Stone come from.
Yeah.
Disney owe us money. Disney, nobody could pick up that rod unless it belonged to you,
Yes,
and it belonged to Moses.
yes.
And he the only one could pull it out the rock.
Listen, because wasn't he?
Yep.
He was in prison for 10 years.
Yeah.
He was in and only survived on bread. This is why they don't want you in these books.
Yep.
They don't want you to know this.
Yep.
And that rod was there. He was the
Yep.
only one to pick it up.
Yep. And the book of Joshua chased that rod from creation all the way up until when Moshe had it.
Absolutely. I don't know what the comments are, but we will get to the comments as soon as we can, okay?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. And verse 36. And Aaron hastened and threw the rod out of his hand before Pharaoh and before his servants, and the rod turned into a serpent. And the sorcerers saw this, and they cast each man his rod upon the ground, and they became serpents. And the serpents of Aaron's rod lifted up its head and opened its mouth to swallow the rods of the magicians.
What?
He said, they just threw it down there like it was nothing, like,
Because
okay,
that was a magic trick.
I saw yours and was like,
We can do that.
mm-hmm.
Okay, where your rod at now?
It must be. Wow. And the serpent of Aaron's rod lifted up his head and against its mouth and opened its mouth to swallow the rods of the magician. And Balaam the magician answered and said, this thing has been from the days of old, that a serpent should swallow its fellow, and that living things devour each other.
Yeah, hey, you tried it. He's smart. He said snakes been eating snakes forever.
Right.
But these ain't snakes. These are rods.
But see, that's what they do. They're like, what you see is not what you see.
You don't really see it.
What's that called? Three-card money?
What is it?
Three-card money.
Where they put the
three
little-
cards.
Oh.
Which one?
Yeah.
Which one is it now?
But also, like when Rodney King got beat and it was in their
Yeah,
face,
yeah,
and he said, well, what you see right there is not
Not
really
really
what you
saw it.
see.
yeah.
That's not that, but you're seeing it. That's the same
Yeah.
thing here.
Mhm.
You try to downplay what really happened and just
Yep.
say they're snakes, but they're not snakes.
Yeah.
I told you,
rocks.
my ex said, what are you gonna believe, your eyes or my words? He
He
did
did
say
say
And,
that.
that, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's why he's here. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, verse 39. And Balaam, the magician, answered and said, this thing has been from days of old, that a serpent should swallow its fellow, and that living things devour each other. Now therefore restore it to a rod as it was at first, and we will also restore our rod as they were at first. And if your rod shall swallow our rods, then shall we know that the Ruach Elohim is in you. And if not, you are only an artificer like unto ourselves. And Aaron hastened and stretched forth his hand and caught hold of the serpent's tail, and it became a rod in his hand. And the sorcerers did the like with their rods, and they got hold, each man of the tail of his serpent, and they became rods as at first.
Okay, don't miss this. If Moshe's rod swallowed up their serpents, and now they say, here go a rod, that means it was a magician trick, because your rods are technically inside of that rod. You didn't reach into the rod and pull out your rod. That means your other rods were somewhere hid somewhere, and the rod that you say turned into a snake didn't turn into a snake.
Slide again.
Use that Hebrew discernment. There ain't no way that could have happened. Where was your rod at? It's inside the snake. What's how you get it?
You know what? I read that and didn't even catch that.
Child, that is,
That's why she Auntie Shelly on the beat. And when they were restored to the rods, and the rods of Aaron swallowed up their rods, and when the king saw this thing, he ordered the sefer of records that related to the kings of Egypt to be brought. And they brought the sefer of records, the Chronicles of the kings of Egypt, in which all the idols of Egypt were inscribed. For they thought of finding therein the name of Yahuwah, but they found it not. And Pharaoh said to Moses and Aaron, behold, I have not found the name of your Elohim written in this sefer, and his name I know not. And the counselor and wise men answered the king, we have heard the Elohim of the Hebrews is a son of the wise, the son of ancient kings. And Pharaoh turned to Moses and Aaron and said to them, I know not Yahuwah, whom you have declared, neither will I send his people.
he said we can't find him in our books.
So we not going.
So I'm sorry, I don't know him. I don't know him. Sorry. We don't. What was that?
We won't recognize him.
What was that?
Right here? Oh, I'm sorry. Right here. Is his name I know?
Yeah, his name. We have heard that the Elohim of the Hebrew is a son of the wise. the son of ancient king. So we heard he just some son, somebody's son.
Yeah.
You know, we say Jesus is the son of God. He's somebody's son.
Yes, or some people
So, or
say like,
somebody's
he was a
son.
good
They're not
person.
Elohim. He was a good person. It was somebody's son. And we'll give him a little something, you know, we'll give him a little bit of props, but I don't know.
And I ain't letting go of his people because his people getting me blessed. Okay.
Yeah.
Everything his people
His
touch.
people ain't even.
You see these are they
I don't know no Yahuwah. He ain't in my book. Cause he ain't, you know why he ain't in your book? Cause they took his name out.
Well,
Because you won't go to the other book.
Yeah, you won't go to the book. Then you know they took his name out.
that's it. Let's go. Verse 47. And they answered and said to the king, Yahuwah Elohim of Elohim is his name. And he proclaimed the name over us from the days of our ancestors, and sent us, saying, Go to Pharaoh and say unto him, Send my people, that they may serve me. Now therefore send us, that we may take a journey for 3 days in the wilderness, and there may sacrifice to him. For the days of our going down to Egypt, he has not taken from our hands either ascending smoke offering, oblation, or sacrifice. And if you will not send us, his anger will be kindled against you, and he will smite Egypt either with the plague or with the sword.
He said we need to go honor Yahuwah. We haven't given him any sacrifices since we've been in this strange land. We have not known his name.
Yeah.
We have not known any of that, and now we want to know his name.
And basically saying, if you ain't gonna let the people go, you're gonna get the smoke, okay? That's what he's saying.
She like that.
You gonna feel the smoke, okay?
You gonna get
You
the
gonna get
smoke.
the smoke, okay? I'm sure he said the smoke.
That's a new thing. You're gonna get smoked.
Oh,
Yeah, we make up words. Yeah, I mean that's a word. You're gonna be smoked.
I don't know if we're gonna sell that tonight, but
Some of y'all get me. At least 2 people get me, I'm sure.
verse 39. Only 49. 3 ain't even there. All right, and Pharaoh said to them, Tell me now his power and his might. That they said to him, He created the heavens and the earth, the seas and all their fish. He formed the light, created the darkness, caused rain upon the earth and watered it, and made the herbage, what's that?
Herbage.
There you go, I like that. Sound better. And grass to sprout. He created man and beast and the animals of the forest, the birds of the air and the fish of the sea. And by his mouth they live and die. Surely he created you in your mother's womb and put into you the breath of life, and reared you and placed you upon the royal throne of Egypt. And he will take your breath and soul from you and return you to the ground whence you were taken.
Then you ask the question.
Let me read you all your rights. Okay?
You ask the question, who is he? That's him. He created everything, he created you, and he's gonna take you out.
He gave you that very breath that goes. He gonna take that back.
And one day you was gonna go,
You thought it was back, no, trade back. Now he said, no, give me that.
take it back.
All right. And the anger of the king was kindled at their words. I'm sure it was. Okay? And he said to them, But who amongst all the Elohim of nations can do this? My river is my own, and I have made it for myself. Listen, this is rampant today, okay?
Yeah,
Because I worked hard.
I did this. Yes.
I got to where I got.
Yeah. All you
Where I
gotta
am.
do is work hard. I did all this.
You
They
see
got
this?
self-help books.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All these
I did
self-affirmations,
this
ain't nothing
on
wrong with
my
it.
own.
But if it's from an I place, that's when something is wrong
Yep.
with it.
Ain't no God help me. I did this by myself.
I was homeless and I was
Yep.
this and now I'm here.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, here.
All right. Verse 52. And he drove them from him, and he ordered the labor upon Israel to be more severe than it was yesterday and before. And I'm sure it was like, dang, man, we didn't have nothing to do with that. And they gotta work harder. But it's all
Yeah,
right.
that's all right.
And Moses and Aaron went out from the king's presence, and they saw the children of Israel in an evil condition, for the taskmasters had made their labor exceedingly heavy. And Moshe returned to Yahuwah and said, Why have you ill-treated your people? For since I came to speak to Pharaoh, what you did send me for, he has exceedingly ill-used the children of Israel. And Yahuwah said to Moses, Behold, you will see that with an outstretched hand and heavy plagues, Pharaoh will send the children of Israel from his land. And Moses and Aaron dwelt among their brethren. And Moses and Aaron dwelt among their brethren, the children of Israel in Egypt. And as for the children of Israel, the Egypt embittered their lives, and with heavy work which they imposed upon them.
So Moshe just thought he was just gonna walk in, go up to Pharaoh and say,
Yeah, he thought it was gonna be
let my
easy.
people go, and he was gonna say, okay. Yep.
And so he said, but why did you send me there? And now all our people is working harder than what they were before.
And they mad at me.
Like,
They mad at me. What's going on?
but see, sometimes things have to go that way so you can really see
Mhm.
Yahuwah's hand.
Yes, because there was a challenge issue.
First off, you ask who
Yeah.
was I? So
Yeah.
now I have to answer your questions
Pharaoh
in ways
issued
that you
a
don't
challenge.
know, that you don't think
Yes.
I'm gonna answer. So now I'm gonna answer you
Yeah.
in these plays and show you
Yes.
that I am, that I
Yes. Yeah, you want to know me? Let's do this.
am. Let's do this. And at the end of 2 years, Yahuwah again sent Moses to Pharaoh to bring forth the children of Israel and to send them out of the land of Egypt. And Moses went and came to the house of Pharaoh, and he spoke to him the words of Yahuwah, who had sent him, but Pharaoh would not hearken to the voice of Yahuwah. And Elohim roused his might in Egypt upon Pharaoh and his subjects. And Elohim smote, that's that word that you was talking about. Smote Pharaoh and his people with very great and sore plagues, with all their streams and rivers. With the very thing that he said, this is my river.
Yeah.
I made this
Yep.
river.
Yep.
And he used that
See,
very
that's
thing
what he has
that
to do. You challenge
gotta
him.
show you.
I gotta show you.
I gotta show you.
Who in charge?
And fun fact for me, I didn't know that Moses went back 2 years later.
Yeah, I mean,
In my mind, I thought that he just went back
every
again.
day. Yeah.
And I had no idea that he
Yes.
went back 2 years later.
Yeah, but actually the whole process took 7 years.
You don't learn that.
It was
Yeah. Yeah, you'll learn that.
It's like it was consecutive days and then it was done.
I
Because
couldn't-
they want us to think Yahuwah is a microwave, Yahuwah, and he's not.
so
Because
this is process.
yes, it takes
Being
this
taken.
process. Because as he's letting Pharaoh know who he is, I'm gonna need my children to cleanse their hearts. You need to know who I am too, because you don't know.
Yeah, and then Moses
You
got to
don't
know who I am.
Yes, all y'all need
too.
to know
Everybody's
me.
getting a learning lesson.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, I had no idea that this was 7 years. Okay, in the making, I thought he went back the next day or the day after. All right. Verse 4. And when a Egyptian came to drink and draw water, he looked into his pitcher, and behold, all the water was turned into blood. And when he came to drink from his cup, the water in the cup became blood. And when a woman kneaded her dough and cooked her victuals, their appearance was turned to that of blood.
So we know that first plague was blood.
Wow.
Can you imagine going to get some water? And it's blood? Now, you know, some of the heathen will be, ooh, I'm making some blood sausage. But not if you're thirsty. Not if you're thirsty. Who wants to drink blood? So we have Sister Linda right here. You ready? Where's your notes?
I have to go from memory.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
She gonna get, after we do one plague from Egypt, she's gonna give us one plague that's going on right now in the world that you may not know of because they're not putting them on the news. But Yahuwah is actually judging the nations right now. Because you have to remember, right now he's judging Egypt because that's where his people are.
Yes.
But not right today, his people are scattered to the four corners. So he has to judge the four corners of the earth. So it's different plagues hitting all over the world that they got you in the house scared of COVID and keep locking you up while they doing it. It got you talking about Ukraine, all kind of stuff hitting all over the world. It was
Okay, so it was South
Let me tell
Africa.
you. Go ahead.
yeah.
It was South Africa last year. Their river turned blood red. They couldn't explain it. They tried to say it was because of the seaweed that was in the ocean, in the sea, but they could not explain it away. It was blood. Okay,
The seaweed is actually good for you.
it is.
So if it's seaweed, just eat it and drink
They
it.
always try to scientifically
Yes.
explain these
Yes.
things away.
And did you hear about that in the news? No. We didn't hear about that because we would have started catching on.
Absolutely.
Like, wait a minute,
Or at
this
least
is
would have been like, that's unusual.
Yes, yes.
It would have been a
Yes.
start, you know.
Yes, yes, it would get us to thinking.
Mhm.
Like, okay.
Verse 6. And Yahuwah sent again and caused all their waters to bring forth frogs. And all the frogs came into the houses of the Egyptians. And when the Egyptians drank, their bellies were filled with frogs, and they danced in their bellies as they danced when in the river. And all their drinking water and their cooking water turned to frogs. Also, when they lay in their beds, their perspiration, when they sweat,
Wow.
Tell it.
You know what? No, you read it right. Like, I just thought the frogs just jumped out the land.
I never knew that the
That means
frogs
it
was.
was. That means it had and there had to be some little old frogs in the
It
water
was tadpoles.
in your
Little tadpoles.
inside your stomach.
Now, was a tadpole or was it a frog?
No,
It's
it's a
a
frog. It's
baby
a frog. But
I
that-
know what a tadpole is. It said frog.
Yes,
Well, I'll stick to-
So let's stick with the program.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Yes, so, but it's not hard for you to swallow a frog and keep swallowing it until it gets into your belly. But we'll go with that. All right, story.
That is correct. And when you perspire, it turns. You
It's
sweat.
like
You
you
turn
sweat
to a
into
frog.
frog.
Look,
That'd be crazy.
I'm not trying to deal with no frogs. But Pharaoh, you asked the question. Moshe tried to tell you he the one that created everything, and Pharaoh's like, see, I don't know something about I did this.
And then he said he gonna smoke you with these flames.
Because remember, Pharaoh thinks he's a god. He thinks he's a sun god. He's like, my frogs in Egypt, I made. Okay, well, let's see what you're gonna do. Let's have this.
He said, I've been smoking.
I've been smoking.
That's ooh. What you got? Give us a play.
We are on verse 8. The end of
Where
verse.
we just finished.
About to go into 9.
Okay, so I don't have a frog one. I haven't found frogs. But I can tell you, Australia last year, and it's still going on now, but the floods have kind of quieted it down. But they were overrun with rats, rodents, mice. They were in people's homes, in their walls. One woman woke up to find her child being attacked by a rat. Another lady woke up as the rat was coming towards her eye. These people would open their silos and rats would just come out as if they were wheat grain. They had just overtaken. So I'll save the others for later. But
Okay.
yeah, it was not, and it still is going on, even more so now because of all the flooding that they've had.
Yeah.
So there's an influx of snakes. There's an influx of gators.
Things that come out the water.
Yes.
Yes.
That's that very part that you love eating.
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah,
The
it's not
man-made
pretty.
Think a gator won't eat you. And some people think gators are slow. Nah, they just slick.
Yeah.
Don't mess with them. Choo. They will.
Listen, frogs go
They
down
will
on
get
the
us. Yep. They fed our babies
They
to
sure did.
gators.
Absolutely.
So y'all don't eat no gator meat. You eating the babies.
Don't eat no alligator.
No.
Listen, don't get them started.
They
Let's take it one
They
at
are
a
still
time.
eating our babies.
Take it one at a time, Auntie Shelley. You
Yeah.
might walk out.
Better be eating the gator than him eating me.
Okay, verse 9.
All right.
No, we're going. Oh, I'm gonna finish verse 8. You're right.
Before we continue, I want everybody to remember this is YouTube Live and Facebook Live, and we are celebrating Passover, and we are doing Storytime Live right now, so we can have everybody's attention. please. Thank you.
Thank you. And all their drinking water and the cooking water turned to frogs. Also, when they lay in their beds, their perspiration bred frogs. Notwithstanding all this, the anger of Yahuwah did not turn from them, and his hand was stretched out against all the Egyptians to smite them with every heavy plague. And he sent and smote the dust to lice, and the lice became in Egypt to the height of 2 cubits upon the earth. Upon the earth. The lice were also very numerous in the flesh of men and breasts, and in the and beasts. You right? Oh my God.
Just picturing it because we picture it and it'll be like,
Man and beast. And and all the inhabitants of Egypt, also upon the king and queen, Yahuwah sent the lice, and it grieved Egypt exceedingly on the account of the lice. Notwithstanding this, the anger of Yahuwah did not turn away, and his hand was still stretched out over Egypt.
can you imagine? Just lice coming up from the ground. What's
Oh
2 cubits?
Oh my.
Anybody know what 2 cubits is?
Listen, don't challenge
I'm
my
I'm
business.
sure that's pretty high. It's high. It's like you walking in lice. Oh. But you know, lice, oh, nah, see,
You know
nah.
what?
And you can go get all that lice shampoo if you want to with the little comb.
They didn't have that back then. They said
They just lice everywhere. Oh.
And Yahuwah sent all kinds of beasts of the field into Egypt, and they came and destroyed all Egypt, men and beasts and trees and all things that were in Egypt. And Yahuwah sent fiery serpents, scorpions, mice, weasels, toads, together with other creeping in dust. Wow, them things was working together. Flies, hornets, fleas, bugs, and gnats. Each swarm according to its kind.
Oh, like can you? It's overrun.
Listen, they are taking, like, literally though, they are in obedience, because
Yeah.
any other time you see a beast and you see a snake, you gonna eat it, right?
Yep.
But they are focused and they're like, I got a command
Yep.
and I gotta do it.
Yep. I ain't finna eat no rats. I'm coming for you.
The whole earth
Same one
gotta,
eat a rat.
the
Yep.
whole
Yeah.
earth gotta obey.
Gotta obey, because even animals are gonna be judged.
Absolutely.
Come on, here's what to play.
I gotta go back to South Africa. I'm
Go
saying.
wherever you need to go.
Can you imagine riding down the road and all of a sudden you gotta turn your windshield on because the cricket flying to the point where your windshield is covered. You can't open your door.
I'll be sitting on that car.
Texas had the centipedes that swarmed over there. And people were opening their front doors and their whole front door would be covered with those things. It was horrific. Like, for a person that doesn't even like camping,
Right.
even watching this, it's like,
Yeah. And the centipedes, the one with the 100 like leg, I can't do it.
yeah. And then you had Vietnam, who was overrun with flies.
Oh, okay.
And they were just all over. But there's been many insect swarms, and just look up animals that have attacked humans in this last year, just these months that we're in. You're gonna find out that a lot of bears, lions, even raccoons have been attacking people. So Yah is moving, and they have us so distracted with all this other stuff. Nobody's paying attention to what's happening with the world. There's more, but go ahead.
Yeah, we too busy talking about Ukraine. Like that ain't what we got.
But that's all that's because propaganda, and that's all they're showing us. And they even listen, you don't even have to watch TV. When you go into the store, they're offering you, do you want to donate?
Right.
So they're keeping your mind on Ukraine without you even signing it like, bro, this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah, yesterday when I went online to pay my taxes,
Mhm.
they had a
They were
little
right
big
there.
old gold thing you want to give to the Ukraine.
Right.
excuse me, I already gotta give you, I don't wanna give you no money. Like, why is they wanna get in your crazy? Seriously, y'all coming at me asking for money for the Ukraine?
I just be like, do you need my account number do you want to get to?
Right.
This
Yeah.
is how deep that kind of propaganda is. Germany was showing starving children in the USA, asking for donations
Well, I ain't seen
for
What?
the starving
Yeah,
children
yeah,
in the
yeah.
United States.
And then we ask for stuff, they start.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't
But we
seen
know
that in
it's
the
all
flood.
going to the same.
Yep, it's a whole
It's a
game.
game, absolutely.
It's a whole game.
Keep you distracted. All right, verse 16. And all the reptiles and winged animals, according to their kind, came to Egypt and grieved Egypt exceedingly. And the fleas and flies came into the eyes and ears of the Egyptian. And the hornet came upon them and drove them away. And they removed from it into their inner rooms, and it pursued them.
They couldn't get away.
And get
They
away.
couldn't get away.
Can't get away.
And when the Egyptians hid themselves on the account of the swarm of animals, they locked their doors after them. And Elohim ordered the,
Zulu?
that's what it is tonight, which was in the sea,
Sunshine.
which was in the sea, to come up and go into into Egypt. And she had long arms, 10 cubits in length, of the cubit of a man. And she went upon the roofs and uncovered the rafting and the flooring and cut them, and stretched forth her arm into the house and removed the lock and bolt and opened the houses of the Egyptians.
Of Egypt.
Was that like an
Of the
octopus?
Egyptians.
Wow.
Is that an octopus? Is that what it is?
Oh, listen.
Could have been.
You know what? My imagination is very, very,
Right,
very.
yes. Yeah, okay, look. The animal comes from the sea, takes your roof off,
Unlocks the door.
goes in and unlocks the door.
And then cute.
Yeah. And to let all the flies and stuff
Yeah,
in.
to let the stuff in.
And to
To
let
let the
everybody
stuff
in.
in. Because y'all think y'all lock the doors.
He said, oh, this is the problem. Okay, let me do that.
Yeah.
Now y'all come in and do what
Yeah.
Yahuwah told you to do.
But like, look, see, when you challenge Yahuwah and you really want to know is because he could have just had the little animal just open the door. He took your roof off.
Yeah.
No covering.
Yeah.
No, you have no covering. I'm gonna take the roof off and then I'm gonna open the door. But I could have just opened the door, but you asked who I was. You asked me who I was. I can do more than just open the door.
Well,
I order animals to take your roof off.
And you got my whole creation involved.
Yes.
From
Yes.
this one question.
Yeah.
Who is he?
Yeah. So I remember back in the day we used to party. We used to say take the roof off. Y'all know
Tear
the
the
rest
roof
of
off.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
tear
know
the
the
roof
song.
off. Yeah, y'all know the song.
Okay.
And the listener came from here. Somebody was singing.
I was thinking
Don't
the same
tear the roof off.
thing.
Yahuwah, please don't tear the roof off. I'm good.
I mean, it ain't my roof, but I'm sure they got it. All right, verse 19, and this will be the only one. Okay.
So they leave. Oh no,
Like, we
it's
don't
special. It's special.
No.
We do want to get to it. Yeah.
And when the Egyptian hid themselves on account of the swarm, I read, okay.
You're on 22.
I'm 22.
Oh, thank you. Afterwards came the swarm of animals into the houses of Egypt, and the swarm of animals destroyed the Egyptian, and it grieved them exceedingly. Notwithstanding this, the anger of Yahuwah did not turn away from the Egyptian, and his hand was yet stretched forth against them. And Elohim sent pestilence, and the pestilence pervaded Egypt, in the horses and asses, and in the camels, in herds of oxen and sheep, and in man. And when the Egyptian rose up early in the morning to take their cattle to pasture, they found all their cattle dead, and there remained of the cattle of the Egyptian only 1 in 10, and of the cattle belonging to Israel in Goshen, not one died.
wow.
Who's in control?
Wow.
Wow. Come on. Issue the challenge.
Wait, and
This
right
is
now
such
we got fish flying and falling onto the ground. You have snowbirds that were in Alaska that ended up dead over in, where is it, somewhere out west. But it was only like 1,000 and some odd miles from Alaska for these snowbirds, and they're rare.
Yeah.
Then you have, we just killed millions of chickens and turkeys because they're scared that the bird flu is back.
Yeah.
They don't understand they're not gonna stop these plagues that are coming. They're gonna keep coming because they refuse to say, I'm sorry, we're gonna let you go. Here's what you're owed. They're not gonna do that. But anyway, because I'm going.
But listen, this is a beautiful story though of how y'all will keep his people.
Because
No
Goshen
matter-
just right down the street.
Down there. And they should have felt some kind of effect, but because they're under covenant, and Yah has a covenant with their ancestors, they felt nothing.
They eat filet mignon.
Absolutely.
They say, I got nothing.
Listen, they got boots over their houses, okay?
They get that rat that came in. He wants some meat.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Absolutely.
Because them folks is losing all their stuff.
Right.
Couple in Australia, they leave, they have this beautiful big home in, I think it's Queensland, but they're living somewhere else right now because her husband is sick. He gets a little better, they go back to their home, and somebody else is living there.
Wow.
Oh, that's really
Have taken over the house.
Wow.
And they cannot get these people out. And you would think if a squatter would be somebody that was off the street homeless. No, this is a doctor, a well-known doctor.
Wow.
That has squatted in their
You know
house.
about
And they can do nothing about it.
Oh, yes, they can.
Well, we could.
Oh, okay.
They can't do anything about it.
You don't leave.
And when you leave, you gonna pay every bill.
They changed the lock. When they came back, the doctor had changed the lock on them again.
It's called Thief in the Night.
But there is some things, some loopholes that some folks are privileged
Yes,
to,
yes.
that they can do
They
that
timed it
legally.
just right. They timed it just
They know
right.
some stuff that we don't, but it's all right.
Move in if you want to.
Wow.
You may not move, well, you're going to move out.
Listen, you see
somewhere.
when, listen,
Let me
you
stop,
see
I'm
when-
not that violent.
Amen.
All
Verse
right.
27. And Elohim sent a burning inflammation in the flesh of the Egyptian, which burst their skins, and it became a severe itch in all the Egypts from the soles of their feet to the crowns of their heads. And many boils were in their flesh, that their flesh wasted away until they became rotten and putrid. Notwithstanding this, the anger of Yahuwah did not turn away, and his hand was still stretched out over all Egypt. Let me tell you the selfishness of a man. How do you let your people go through
Yes,
all
all
these
this.
things
Right.
behind you not letting go another nation?
Right.
Yeah.
So you are so locked in with
Yeah.
you and what you have done.
Yes.
Your people are suffering.
Yes. Because you don't want
Because the
anything wrong.
Absolutely. The Hebrews is good, but your people are suffering.
Yeah.
But because it's an I thing,
Yes.
you let your people experience it.
Yep.
The selfishness
Yes.
Is
and
that
the
not
evil.
what the government does?
Yeah, that's just what our government instigates and stuff.
It funds it, okay?
Yeah, right.
And Yahuwah sent a very heavy hail, which smote their vines and broke their fruit trees and dried them up, and they fell upon them. Also, every green herb became dry and perished, for a mingling fire descended amidst the hail. Therefore, the hail and the fire consumed all things. So it's raining hail and it's fire at the same time.
Water and
They was
fire.
getting knocked out and burnt up at the same time. That helped.
Can I tell you, that's happening in Wisconsin now. One side of Wisconsin is on fire.
Uh-huh.
The other side, it's raining. They have had hail as big as, they were saying golf balls. But when I saw the snowball, it looked like it was the size of a baseball.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. These things are real.
It's real. The hail is hitting these windows, breaking them. You could hear it. It sounded like somebody's kid was playing with the pots. Just
Wow.
See?
on two different sides.
Play with Yahuwah if you want.
Try him if you ask a question.
Yeah.
Ask who am I?
Wow.
What's his name?
You better be Baruch or Hermes. You better be under covenant when you ask them questions.
Yeah. And Yahuwah sent a very heavy, nope, I read that. In verse 33. And Yahuwah sent and brought numerous locusts into Egypt, and Chesil, and Shalom, and Chargol. Listen, these are the names that they're going to be tonight. And Chargol, locusts, each of its kind. Okay, those are the different kinds of locusts, which devoured all that the hail had left remaining. Then the Egyptian rejoiced at the locusts, although they consumed the produce of the field, and they caught them in abundance, and salted them for food.
They so hungry, they like,
They seasoned it.
that's how you know Jesus was black. They seasoned them locusts. They seasoned them locusts.
They was excited, but they was like, hey, anybody
Hey.
got what you got?
You got salt, you got pepper. You can eat these.
No, they wouldn't say salt. Yeah.
Oh,
They might have said so.
Salt, absolutely. We have the salt is better. But they gotta
they
have
got salt. They
They
got
gotta
salt.
have salt just like your mama's seasoning, back then. Before it got it. But I'm just saying it was seasoned before they
It was
ate it.
seasoned. They ate them. They was like, yay, locusts.
There.
Excuse me for 1 second.
Absolutely.
Did you read verse 32?
Did we skip it?
You know, I have a habit of doing that.
You know.
I appreciate you.
I don't know if anybody else caught it.
They did.
Thank you.
Did we?
Okay,
sure, go back to it.
You need
Okay,
to
I'm
go back
gonna-
to 32 and read that.
Yes, sir.
It must be good.
Thank you. Also, going back to 32, so I'm going to 31 and then we're going to go into it. Also, every herb became dry and perished, for a mingling fire descended amidst the hail. Therefore, the hail and the fire consumed all things. 32. Also, men and beasts that were found abroad perished of the flames of fire and of the hail. And all the young lions were exhausted.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, well, I can't go no more time. They're trying to run and get away.
I'll take that. First, I'm gonna go into. Okay, I'll go into it. And Yahuwah sent and brought numerous locusts into Egypt. The Chesil, Shalom, Chargol, and Chargol, locusts each of its kind, which devoured all that the hail had left remaining. Then the Egyptians rejoiced at the locusts, although they consumed the produce of the fields. They caught them in abundance and salted them for food. And Yahuwah turned a mighty wind of the sea, which took away all the locusts. Just when they in the middle of this. Okay, even those that were salted. Oh,
Right.
Right?
You know, but the
You salt the locusts and you turn around.
You was in the.
Where my locusts?
And even
You get
though
the thing.
I am not going to feed you, okay? Even those that were salted and thrust them into the Red Sea, not one locust remained within the boundaries of Egypt.
Wow.
Boy, he gave you fake hope.
Yeah.
They gave themselves
You
fake
thought.
hope.
Yeah, they gave themselves fake hope.
Yeah. You thought. You thought.
You thought, yeah.
For a minute. You thought.
That's torture right there. And Elohim sent darkness upon Egypt, that the whole land of Egypt and Pathrak became dark. That's as close as I'm going to get that name. Became dark for 3 days, so that a man could not see his hand when he lifted it to its mouth. It was very dark. At that time, died many of the people of Israel, who had rebelled against Yahuwah, and who would not hearken to Moses and Aaron, and believed not in them that Elohim had sent them, and who had said, we will not go forth from Egypt, lest we perish with hunger in a desolate wilderness, and who would not hearken to the voice of Moses.
So he's trying his own people too. And
Yeah.
he said when the plague of darkness comes, he gave everybody a chance.
Yeah.
Everybody get a chance.
I kept you safe because I have a covenant promise with you.
Yes.
But one day That's why we said, don't think just because you holler, I'm Hebrew,
Right.
that you just gonna get away with stuff.
That's right.
You ain't. You got a time limit too.
That's
Get right.
Yes, and absolutely. And then also, I think it's got to be in your heart
Gotta
to trust
be.
you, because you also are seeing what's going
Yes.
on.
Right.
And here, if you're not
Yes.
seeing it, you're definitely hearing about it.
Right.
How he still kept you, he
Right.
still
Kept
kept
you.
your animals.
Right.
So your perception got to be in the right place.
You
know what
gotta
I'm
be.
saying?
And you still saying, I'm in Egypt.
Right. And
How dumb would that be?
and I'm not going to leave into wilderness, and I'm going to touch.
Yeah.
But didn't he just keep you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you see what's going on. Really, you want the Egyptian God that ain't a God?
I mean,
That is not an Elohim? That you ain't following Moses. Okay, you right, you ain't.
That's right. That's
I
right.
don't have dark skies, 'cause I forgot where it is, but we can give you a blackout situation. Sahara Desert. The sandstorm was so strong
Right.
from there that it went across and covered Spain, it got France, and as it came, the city just got darker
Wow.
and darker
Wow.
and darker.
wow.
And for the sand to go that, and it looked like a wall.
Yeah.
Wow.
It looked like a wall. It looked like almost like a steamer boat, just slowly moving in. And it wasn't gonna be stopped. Lights were covered, homes were covered, people were covered.
Wow.
They went in their house.
Yeah.
'Cause they were like, what's going on? But if they read the word, they
You know,
find
they will
out what's going on.
That's
Right?
right.
They're all listed. Okay.
Good. And Yahuwah plagued them in 3 days of darkness, and Yasharel or Israel buried them in those days, without the Egyptian knowing of them or rejoicing over them. And the darkness was very great in Egypt for 3 days, and any person who was standing when the darkness came remained standing in his place. And he that was sitting remained sitting, and he that was lying continued lying in the same state. And he that was walking remained sitting upon the ground in the same spot. And this thing happened to all the Egyptians until the darkness has passed
Can you
away.
imagine 3 days? Because you can't even see in
Can't
front of
see
your
your hand.
face. Now, we finna get dramatic for a minute. What happens when you have to go to the bathroom?
Right there.
Yeah,
right there. Yeah.
You sitting there.
It's a serious thing though.
And you gotta read into it, like what happens for 3
Right.
You think you ain't going to the bathroom? I mean, I know you ain't had nothing to eat, but still your body. You gotta go.
Oh man,
It happens to kids.
listen. But literally, but if you think about the symbolic of it though,
That's right.
darkness really fills your whole being,
It
and it
cripples
covers
you.
you,
Yeah.
and you are not able to see yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
You're unrecognizable. He
Yeah.
don't see you.
Right.
Yeah.
So it really does. It's like symbolic, because even though we didn't know that we were in a state of darkness, thank God for mercy. But even then, you still seeing his grace.
Yeah.
You seeing all of it, because again, he's giving out chances.
Yes.
Listen, he's passing out opportunities
Yes.
to come on.
In the light.
Like Oprah, like you get a he's passing out opportunities. But if we're not careful, that darkness can swallow us
Yes.
as individuals. Even though, like you said, don't get all like I'm Hebrew.
Yeah.
Bro, if your heart ain't right,
That's right.
Yeah.
he don't matter if he can't see himself in you,
That's
right.
it don't matter what you say out
That's
your mouth.
right. That's right.
You do all you want to.
You can I am Hebrew all you want.
Yeah.
All right. And verse 49. Nope.
No, 41.
Thank you. 41. That's what I have.
Come on, be in help.
And the days of darkness passed away. And Yahuwah sent Moses and Aaron to the children of Israel, saying, celebrate your feast and make your
I
Thank
think
you.
that's Passover actually.
Passover,
Yeah, it is.
and make your Passover. Oh, yes, it is. Celebrate your feast and make your Passover. For behold, I have come in the midst of the night amongst all the Egyptians, and I will smite all their firstborn, from the firstborn of a man to the firstborn of a beast. And when I see your Passover, I will pass over you. And the children of Israel did according to all that Yahuwah had commanded Moses and Aaron. Thus did they in that night. And it came to pass in the middle of the night that Yahuwah went forth in the midst of Egypt, and smote all the firstborn of the Egyptians, from the firstborn of man to the firstborn of the beast. And of Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry throughout Egypt in that night, for there was not a house in which there was not a corpse. Also, the likenesses of the firstborn of Egypt, which were carved in the walls at their houses, were destroyed and fell to the ground.
Okay, that's like you got a picture
Okay.
Yeah.
of your granddad on the wall, and he the firstborn.
Yes.
His picture on the floor when you
Every
wake up.
memory erased.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He came for the pictures.
I know, right? Right. All the firstborn.
All everything. And then I didn't know that he did that to the animals either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the bones of their firstborn who had died before this, and whom they had buried in their houses, were raked up by the dogs of the Egyptians on that night, and dragged before the Egyptian and cast before them.
Wow. They dug the first
Wow.
No trace.
Well, hey, they want to know who y'all was.
Listen, this is where he did killed him twice. You know what I'm saying? He said,
I'm gonna dig them up. I know who the firstborn is in the grave,
And I know where you are.
and I'm gonna have a dog go dig them up.
maybe that was the dog with him.
No, that ain't that dog. Yeah.
And all the Egyptians saw this evil. Nope.
Yep.
Yes, I'm
Yep.
right. And all the Egyptians saw this evil which had suddenly come upon them. And all the Egyptians cried out with a loud voice. And all the families of the Egyptians wept upon that night, each man for his son, and each man for his daughter, being the firstborn. And the tumult of Egypt was heard at a distance on that night. And Bathia, the daughter of Pharaoh, went forth with the king on that night to seek Moses and Aaron in their houses. And they found them in their houses, eating and drinking and rejoicing with all Israel.
They have a
That's
good
that
time.
Passover.
That's that Passover.
They having that Passover.
Wow. And Bathia said to Moses, "Is this the reward for the good which I have done to you, who have reared you and stretched you out? And you have brought this evil upon me and my father's house?" And Moses said to her, "Surely 10 plagues did Yahuwah bring upon Egypt. Did any evil accrue to you from any of them? Did one of them affect you?" And she said, "No."
Exactly.
In case anybody doesn't know who Bathia is, she's the one who drew Moses from the river.
Right.
Yeah, that's why she said, "I took care of you."
Right. All that
Moses
stuff.
said, "What? You still here?
Yeah.
Right.
What happened to you? You still here because of me? So I'm gonna need you."
Just like you said, I'm saying.
Right. I'm saying it. And Moses said to her, although you are the firstborn to your mother, you shall not die, and no evil shall reach you in the midst of Egypt." And she said, "What advantage is it to me when I see the king, my brother, and all his household and subjects in this evil, whose firstborn perished with all the firstborn of Egypt?" And Moses said to her, "Surely your brother and his household and subjects and families of Egypt would not hearken to the words of Yahuwah.
Right.
Therefore did this evil come upon them." And Pharaoh, king of Egypt, approached Moses and Aaron and some of the children of Israel who were with them in that place. And he prayed to them, saying, "Rise up and take your brethren, all the children of Israel who are in the land, with their sheep and oxen and all belonging to them. They shall leave nothing remaining. Only pray for me to Yahuwah Elohim." And Moses said to Pharaoh, "Behold, though you are your mother's firstborn, yet fear not, for you will not die. For Yahuwah has commanded that you shall live, in order to show you his great might and strong stretched out arm.
So now Pharaoh like, pray for me. Y'all know.
Wait, first off, now Pharaoh knows his name.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, now you know his name.
You couldn't search it before.
Yeah, I can't find him in the secret, but he in there now.
You knew it came out of Yahuwah.
Yeah.
Yahuwah Elohim.
Yeah.
And Pharaoh ordered the children of Israel to be sent away, and all the Egyptians strengthened themselves to send them. For they said, we are all perishing. And all the Egyptians sent Israel forth with great riches, sheep and oxen, and precious things, according to the oath of Yahuwah between him and our father Abraham. And the children of Israel delayed going forth at night. And when the Egyptian came to them to bring them out, they said to them, are we thieves, that we should go forth at night? And the children of Israel asked of the Egyptian vessels of silver and vessels of gold and garments. And the children of Israel stripped the Egyptian. And Moses hastened and rose up and went to the river of Egypt, and brought up from thence the coffin of Joseph, and took it with him. And the children of Israel also brought up each man of his father's coffin with him, each man the coffins of his tribes.
We taking everything that belongs to
Taking
us.
everything.
And remember when they said they gave them sheep and oxen, because remember 1/10 of them was left alive.
Yeah.
The wealth of the wicked
Laid up for
is
us.
laid up for the righteous.
Yeah.
I'm leaving there with your good and forever. And you know his name.
Yeah.
Don't play with me. Ask the question again.
Better be in the right spirit. That being said, we appreciate everybody for
Yes.
joining in for story time. We hope that you all are enjoying your Passover. However, the Most High tells you to do that. We're just excited that you all are celebrating this special
Yes.
day and being reminded of all that He did for us.
Yes.
See yourself in this, because you are in here.
And if you don't remember nothing else, stay in Torah.
Right.
Stop with all this Hebrew fringe and the gold and the purple and the ooh, y'all ain't doing it on the right day.
Right.
Stay in Torah.
Yeah.
Stop relying on your Hebrewism.
It ain't gonna
Because
make it.
Hebrew is a nationality.
Right.
Yeah. Because somebody could be some other nationality and get engrafted in.
Right.
Don't fool yourself, boo.
Right.
Stay in Torah.
I read about it. Y'all saw some of them Hebrews
Yeah.
died, right? Don't be one of them, okay?
Right.
Do it.
With that being said,
Yes.
Shabbat
Shabbat Yeah, I know this was somebody. Sometimes we think that's off and it's not.